Savasana is deep rest that we typically take at the end of a yoga practice. Every style or lineage is a little bit different, and some lineages do it much longer at the end of practice. So I want to share that there's a lot of benefits to Shavasana, especially at the end of doing a physical routine. Think about the asanas being a way to dispel the stress, the tension, the worry that we're holding in our body, that's stuck in our mind. And this gives us an opportunity to move in a mindful way as we're doing our conscious breathing. So at the end of the movement, we get to be still. We get to become quiet. And hopefully you get more than a couple of minutes to do this. Generally speaking, at least 5, 10, and if you're doing at home, even longer. You don't have to have props for Shavasana. You can take a corpse pose just on your back, feet hip distance apart, arms alongside your body. But if you want to use a bolster, you can take it underneath your knees. And if you need a little additional support for this, you can also take blocks and then lean it up so it elevates the knees a little bit higher. Since you're probably doing this at home, you can use a toss pillow for underneath your head to support your neck. You can use a blanket to cover up your whole body to stay warm. And I suggest an eye pillow. And if you don't have an eye pillow, you can just use a washcloth or a towel to shield and cover your eyes and ears. But the nice thing about the eye pillow is if you put the weight directly on your brow, it helps to calm the vagus nerve, which will help us to shift from the stressed out state of the sympathetic nervous system that we're typically in into the parasympathetic nervous system where we're calm, cool, and collected. So I'm going to actually use the blanket underneath my head today, and I am going to use my eye pillow just to give you a demonstration. Now, once you get settled and everything is just right, I want you to also check with something, that your cell phone is silenced, that you're in a space where you're not going to have as many disturbances, at least the ones that you can control. And notice if you're wearing a watch. Please take the watch off and leave it and set it aside, especially if it's an Apple Watch that gives you notifications. You don't want to be distracted. If you want to play some light music in the background, that's okay. If you want to dim the lighting, that's okay as well. Once you set up, close your eyes. And I want you to settle down into your body, feeling the earth beneath, feeling perhaps the texture of the mat under your feet, your arms, and maybe a different texture underneath your hands. Allow the bones to get heavy. Perhaps noticing the weight in the sacrum, or down through your back ribs or shoulder blades, or even the base of the skull. And take a few deep yogic breaths. Feeling the expansion as you inhale, and the relaxation as you surrender and let go on the exhale. Once you take a few rounds of breath, you can let the breath subside out of your control, and it can flow in a more natural, organic way. And then your practice here is to become the observer. Perhaps you're observing your breath, ebbing and flowing. But also notice the sensations in your body, the feelings that you may hold in your heart, and any thoughts that may run in the mind. Instead of attaching to any of these things, just stay as the inner witness, recognizing that you are more than the shell of body, so much more that goes beyond your feelings and sensations, and not even your thoughts, but something more. Let's just rest and breathe. Remember, the idea is to stay awake, alert, and aware through the relaxation, so your focus is maintained. Begin to deepen the flow of your breath. You can take the eye bag away and let that light start to filter through your lids. And draw your knees into your belly. Wrap your arms lovingly around. And maybe even rock gently from side to side before rolling to one. And then coming back up. Thank you. Namaste.